My wife of 17 years had an affair with my best friend that lasted a few months. I found out in January. We stayed in the same house and tried to reconcile until July. In July, she went on a trip that I asked her not to. I could tell she was emotionally gone already. While she was traveling, I moved out. I tried multiple times to get her to realize the severity of her actions, and she was very checked out already. Fast forward to now. I have a nice apartment, sold my van for a 2-seat sports car, crushing the gym and all that jazz. I'm content with my life now. 2 weeks ago, we had our first couples counseling session. We were asked what we want to work on, and my wife responded with learning how to regain trust with BS. Other than that statement, the entire session was gaslighting, blame shifting, all the normal stuff that I've been dealing with for months. It was very sad to experience. I do want to give her a fair shake though. The therapist asked us to both work on gathering a set of goals and thinking about what trust looks like. I just don't know what trust looks like. Trust is not having an affair in the first place. Trust is being able to not give a second thought to my wife being around my friends without me being there. Trust is built over 17 years, not recovered in a few weeks or months. I took my wife off my phone plan because I didn't want to have to care about who she is texting. I opened my own bank account and removed myself from our joint account because I don't want to have to see where she spends money. I never ask her where she is or what she's doing. Initially, after I found out about the affair, the snooping consumed me. I learned that I would never have the answers I wanted, and I could either let it consume me, or just move on. The concern I used to have for her, and what she was doing, pre-affair, is just a passing away space now in my mind. She's hovering around in my life, but not in the same way as before. It's really hard to formulate the words. Update. Quick recap. My cat died 2 Fridays ago. The following day, my wife left for another state to have Christmas with her family, and took our son. Prior to her leaving, we agreed that our son would need a negative COVID test before he would be allowed to come to my place for my custody time. She also informed me that she would not be communicating with me for the 10 days she was on holiday because she needed to disconnect. I decided that it was time to turn into a gray stone and move on with my life. No sane person that loves another person, that had an affair, that is working on their marriage, disconnects during a holiday for 10 days. That's what a vile, evil, mean, nasty person does. There's no other purpose other than to inflict pain and suffering. As promised, she didn't contact me once in those 10 days. Not to ask how I was coping with the loss of our cat, not to wish me Merry Christmas, nothing. It felt liberating. She was set to return Sunday, but messaged me Saturday night to tell me that she had decided to stay an extra day. Never mind that I was supposed to get custody on Monday. Never mind that she hadn't gotten our son tested for COVID. Never mind if I had plans with him. She just told me she was keeping him another day. We don't have a legal custody agreement, just a gentleman's agreement, which apparently she doesn't feel the need to abide by any longer. I gray-stoned the crap out of her message. There was no win in replying in any shape or form, so I just didn't reply. Monday, she got back in town and promptly called me multiple times, texted, and then emailed. I was the most dull, boring, gray stone you've ever seen. I didn't answer or reply. The following part of this story is 100% her doing, without a doubt. She just is incapable of being responsible for anything in her vortex. She emailed me last night, Monday night, to inform me that the gas company was turning off her gas on Tuesday, due to a comedy of errors on her part. She informed me that I would need to take our son, and that she didn't know where she would go. I replied and told her that our son was welcome to stay with me once he had a negative COVID result. I know she wanted me to white knight her. I know she wanted me to chime in and offer suggestions and help. I know she wanted me to sign it love, too old for this nonsense. Duck that. That ship has sailed. It has been a life changer for me to finally be to a point of apathy towards her. I have achieved the state of meh. Update. I've been living in a studio apartment for 4 months since separation started. My apartment building had a 2-bedroom open up and I jumped at the chance. My kiddo and I spent the holiday weekend moving. He finally gets a room to himself. I went out Saturday and bought furniture for the entire place. Sheets, plates, all that jazz. It felt freaking fantastic. Back in August when we separated and I went and bought a couch, I could barely make it into a store without getting emotional, thinking about all the things I missed doing with my wife. I'm not a people person and don't really like doing small talk with salespeople, and I was always thankful that my wife loved doing that. We'd go into a store, I'd wander around avoiding everyone and she'd come find me when she wanted my opinion. Shopping this weekend was a completely different experience for me. In 20 years, I've never looked at women as, I guess I've never looked at them as dating material. I've never processed in my head, is this person cute? That all changed on Saturday. My wife spent the weekend emailing me and texting me. She swung from forgiving me, for what crimes, I do not know, to telling me she thought it would help me to know that she misses me, something she hasn't said since D-Day, to getting angry when I wouldn't return her texts. I am ducking and crushing it being a gray stone. I hit the archive on her texts as soon as they arrive, and I hit delete on her emails as soon as they arrive. I haven't snooped on her Facebook in weeks. I don't pick up my phone 500 times a day hoping she texted me. I leave that joker on airplane mode and it feels amazing. Update. I moved from my studio to a 2-bedroom apartment at the start of the month. I went out and bought furniture for the entire place since I moved out with nothing. New sheets, new bed, new plates, everything. I felt like a kid going off to college. My STBXW has reached out a few times hinting at wanting to be invited over to see my place. I've been pretending to be too dense to notice her hints. I only plan on letting ladies come over that didn't blow up a 20-year relationship. I'm doing fine, STBXW. I don't need you to pick out sheets and towels. I shared photos of the apartment with people that care about me. Not narcissistic vacuums. Update. Well, it's been almost a year since D-Day. This sub probably saved my life. I've never needed any attaboy or you got this in my life. I moved 2,000 miles away from everything I knew at 17 years old. I've always been able to pick myself up by my bootstraps. My STBXW's affair with my best friend destroyed me and made me an empty, hollow husk of a man. My STBXW continues to send me emails and texts blaming me, gaslighting, and just plain trying to get kibble from me. She sent me an email at 5:30 a.m. this morning with more of the horse crap she spews. This week has been one of the best weeks of my life. I've been on 2 dates with a lovely lady. We text and chat non-stop all day. My boss even mentioned that he noticed something has changed this week, he's glad for whatever it is. So, Monday morning, I drop my kiddo off with my STBXW and come back to my apartment. And then, Operation Bra Left Behind commences. The lovely lady I've been chatting up comes over for dinner Monday night. She spent this week teasing me non-stop. Life is good, folks. You will recover, but only if you make it happen. Your life is what you make of it. Leave the relationship debt that your spouse dropped on you, and live the best version of you that you can. I owe this sub a debt which I don't know can ever be repaid. I probably won't have another update, but I'll be here for at least a few more months to pay it forward. I hope you all find your true north. Update. It has taken a lot of work to get my son to the point where he was ready and interested to ride a dirt bike. His mom commonly stepped on him being adventurous. I ride almost every weekend and have always wanted my son to try and join me. A year into the separation, I've finally worked my son out of his shell and got him onto a dirt bike that I bought him this weekend. Next to him getting his scuba cert, seeing him on a dirt bike was probably my proudest dad moment of all time. His time with me wrapped up this morning, and I dropped him off at his mom's. She texted me around lunch and asked for a photo of him riding the dirt bike. While I'm pretty much to the point of indifference towards her, I still feel a bit of hate. Her affair after 17 years of marriage essentially robbed me of 50% of my time with my son in the stage of his life where I really wanted to have the greatest impact. He's about to turn 15, and I'm stuck living my life 1 week at a time now, because of her bullcrap. I don't know how to respond to her text. Him dirt biking is my win. It's my victory. It's my time. She shouldn't get any of the wins. I know she wants to share photos with her family. The family that I was excluded from for 14 years. The family that didn't support our 20-year relationship. So, do I share a photo? Or do I just continue to gray rock, which I've been doing successfully for months? Update. Yesterday, my soon-to-be ex-wife and I had our first interim family court custody hearing. My ex had custody of our 15-year-old son last year over the winter holiday break. I was asking for the same amount of time this year. When her lawyer cross-examined me, she started by asking me what my religion is. I responded stating I wasn't sure how that was relevant. She switched to asking me if I celebrate Christmas. Obviously I don't, I'm agnostic. The hearing officer admonished me for being agnostic and wanting equal custody time with my son. It should be noted that my soon-to-be ex-wife had an affair, which is why we are ending a 16-year marriage. Is it legal to use my non-religious beliefs against me in a holiday custody dispute? Edit. I only requested the custody hearing because my son has told his mom and myself that he wants to spend the break with me, since he spent the last one with her. She lied about this point in the hearing and stated that our son doesn't want to spend any holidays with me. I have a lawyer and she was present. It will take another 10 to 12 months before the courts will hear my son's opinion on this. I understand my usage of obviously was poor. I was under an immense amount of pressure at the time. I do not celebrate Christmas in any way, shape or form. This doesn't mean I don't like spending the winter break doing stuff with my kiddo. Update. A lady and I have been dating for a few weeks. Last weekend was one of the greatest weekends of my life. We spent the entire weekend together, and I shared my life with her. She stayed over both nights and I'm just enamored. She's had plans to go on a vacation this weekend, since before we met. I was super excited for her because I think everyone needs to stretch their legs. She's supposedly staying with a married male friend. We've made plans for me to pick her up from the airport and then stay at my place when she returns, as I live over an hour closer to the airport than she does. We've made plans for the entire holiday weekend next weekend. She knows generally what my ex of 20 years did to me. Once she landed, her entire communication pattern changed. In 24 hours, only 3 texts. We normally talk on the phone at least twice a day. I replied to her texts and asked questions about how it's going. No answer. No good night, no good morning. Obviously, we aren't in a long relationship, but we did agree to only date each other. I'm in Colonel Panic mode. I'm in that flight or fight mode we all felt when we discovered the infidelity. I'm ready to just pull the ripcord and jettison her. I know I should talk to her and tell her what I'm dealing with. I can't do it. I don't want to make her vacation about me. I'm pretty heartbroken. I feel like I was learning to love again. Duck our exes that kicked our trust squarely in the Johnson. Final update. It's been nearly a year since I first posted about my journey down the craftiest road in the world. I would have waited for exactly a year, 2 more weeks, but I'll be traveling without the internet for the next few weeks. A recap: in February 2020, my wife of 19 years told me that she had slept with my best friend multiple times. This friend and I were involved in a number of clubs and organizations together. In one fell swoop, I lost my family, hobbies, and work. The ex, we had a gentleman's agreement about custody and finances. It was a good deal for my ex. When the time came for her to make me whole, she hired a lawyer and decided to fight everything. She still owes me for 50% of the household goods, 10% of the home, and about $10,000 in cash, plus lawyer fees. She has filed in court for full custody, and I'm in the process of jumping through all the insane hoops that go along with family court. Our son will be 21 before we have custody sorted. She does fun things like drop him off at 7 a.m. on Labor Day, with zero warning or notification. She emailed me to tell me that him attending prom is more important than his education. She told me that before I date anyone, I need to do a full background check on them. The laughs I have at her expense are numerous, and I could write for days about the madness that surrounds her vortex of bullcrap. Our 20-year anniversary would be in a few weeks. I'll be on holiday with a lady friend and will privately chuckle to myself. Advice for those of you still in the vortex: it will end. I promise. The amount of times you think about them in a day will decrease until it's almost non-existent. You will find new friends. You will build new memories. You will move past the speed bump in the road of life, and you'll be a better person. You'll probably be less giving of your trust, but those that you do give trust to will be more deserving of it than in the past. Myself, I put off rejoining a shared industry that I was in with AP. I went from being on 2 boards in the industry to nothing overnight. It's a risky industry where lives are on the line every day, and I wasn't in a mental state for it anymore. Today, I submitted my application to rejoin a team and get back to it. I'm putting the wraps on my dive master cert. Diving was my ex's hobby. Now that crap is mine. Dating was all over the map for me. My therapist made me join some dating apps. I hadn't dated in 24 years. A lot of ladies just wanted pen pals. Only 2 ever wanted to meet in person. One of them stuck around and we're starting to share a life together. I posted about some situations I was working through with my lady friend. My therapist and parents remind me often to worry less about tomorrow and focus on today. I couldn't ride motorcycles for almost a year. The first time I did, I rode the wrong way down 2 different one-way streets. I was very much in the wrong mental state. In May, I got back to riding with buddies. Just the other day, one of my best friends said to me, "I'm glad you're finally really back. A lot of us thought we had lost you. It's good to see you smiling again." My ex and I talked for years about getting tattoos together, but she would never commit. I have a tattoo now. This sub, you guys saved my life. I have no doubt about it. One of my best friends was found on this sub. Tiffany, if you're reading this, you're not as far along in your journey as I am, but I know you'll get there. Stop running away from things and start running towards something. Farewell, I'm off to the other side of the world in 2 weeks. I'll be gone for 2 weeks on a trip with my lady friend. The remainder of 2021 will be spent preparing for 2022. I've already booked flights to 4 countries in 2022. I have plans to move somewhere I want to move to for the first time since I got married 19 years ago. All our moves were for my ex's career. 2022 will see me getting my skydiving cert and finishing my wilderness EMT certification. This will hopefully be my last submission. I'll still lurk and offer advice, but my story ends here. We have reached the end of the story. Let's listen to some of the comments by our Reddit listeners. Comment 1. I'm surprised the lawyer wasn't reprimanded for bringing up Christmas. What if you were Jewish? Even if people don't understand atheism, they should at least understand that not everyone is Christian. Comment 2. Has she already accepted the blame? Has she told you that she regrets? Has she been dating people? OP reply. No, she has not accepted fault. The other day, she asked for a photo of the kid on the dirt bike I bought him as her Mother's Day gift. I told her that wasn't going to happen. That his time with me, now limited to 50% of his life, because of her affair, would not be shared with her. Her reply was, "You're that one that took away 50% of his time with me." No, she hasn't accepted fault. She has never expressed any regrets related to her affair. No idea if she's dating. We don't speak about anything unrelated to our son. The few times I have strayed from this, she has made me promptly regret it.